All right, jabronis, we're back. Hope everyone had a great week. Mine was way too busy. Too much work going on. Coming off of like a holiday, I was on leave. Coming off a holiday, it was just a lot of busyness at work, but we got back on track. Still kept the exercising going on every day. Started eating, healthier again. Wasn't in New York. So Bone Crusher and I went to New York City for a few days before Thanksgiving to go see Survivor Series, WWE pay-per-view match in New York, and then hit the city. And we spent 3 straight days eating nothing but pizza and breaded chicken cutlet sandwiches. So it's good to be back on a regular routine of food intake, not just slices or turkey, because right after that was Thanksgiving. We had Turk Daddy. So, but I put up a photo montage. I didn't take enough pictures, honestly. I should have taken more pictures. I didn't know what I was thinking. I was too in the zone, just crushing slices, hitting all these different sites in the city, moving and shaking. It was great. But check out the little montage. We got some heroin syringes. We got rat daddies, pizza, all the how you doings in New York. So plus that song, I can't get that song out of my head. New York Groove by Ace Frehley. He's a prior member of Kiss, Jewish fella from New York. Song is great. Good beat, positive. It's 2 stanzas long. Is that what you call it in music? Stanzas? Because stanzas, 2 stanzas long. And it's basically, he's back in New York, he's doing drugs, and he's borking toots in the back of his car. I mean, you can't get much more in New York City than that, folks. So good on him. Go listen to the song. Go watch the montage and spread the good cheer. But anyway, busy week. Back to reality, I guess. Speaking of reality, really not me, like an alternate reality. I got propositioned. I guess that's the word. It wasn't for money, but I got propositioned to do a threesome with this lady and her boyfriend. Strangers. Fat and her, I didn't see the boyfriend, some trash bin. No questions asked. The only question was, do you want to do threesome with us? That was the only question. No asking about sexual history, STDs, nothing. Size of my pishkadil, nothing. No questions whatsoever. Off the street practically. Hey, do you want to do sex with me and my boyfriend, my stranger boyfriend? 2 strangers, one fat, one male. So a devil's threesome with strangers. Wild. That wasn't even in New York City. That was just this week in regular life. Complete strangers. Crazy stuff. So I'm going to go get tested this week. Anyway, let's get right into it. We got some important stuff to talk about today. Very important stuff that nobody else is talking about. So with that, we'll step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Anthony Rigatoni's certified pre-owned turkey gizzard necklaces. You know that feeling of yearning you get after a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday filled with food, family, and toilet? Well, renowned sex creep Tony Riggs is here to help with his CPO gizzard necklaces. Just slap on these giblet-filled how you doings around your neck and let the rotting turkey smells take you right back to that festive Thursday you already missed so much. And for a limited time offer, you'll receive a free sack of stale stuffing with each order over $40. So visit www.gibletgullet.com today and use the promo code GOBBLEGOBBLEGHOUL to get 2.9% off your first gizzard necklace, certified pre-owned. How you doing? Tony Riggs, always finding a way to hustle, take advantage, and profit. Those are the keys to victory. Hustle, take advantage, and profit. So check out gibletgullet.com. You'll be good to go. All right, Cage Fact. Pretty quick. We discussed on a previous episode recently some stuff from the movie Family Man. So holiday, Christmas time movie. Rich guy goes to an alternate reality where he's with the family. We already talked about that. Great movie, classic movie. Go if you haven't seen it, you should have. You should be ashamed of yourself. But in the movie, he drives when he's Rich Cage in the beginning. He drives a Ferrari. Let's get this Ferrari 550 Maranello. Good Italian choice of sports car in the city. So he's rich. He can do that. In real life, Nick Cage used to own a 550 Maranello Ferrari. So he almost is like manifesting his own destiny in movies. He's got, if you remember, he had the English leather cologne in that same movie that Elvis used in real life, and he's the biggest Elvis fan. So much so he married his daughter, probably borked her. He's got tattoos. He had a tattoo of Ghost Rider on his arm. Ended up playing Ghost Rider. Got a tattoo on his forearm of Woody Woodpecker. Ended up playing a character in Raising Arizona that was based off of the Woody Woodpecker cartoon story. Like, kind of how you doing? So this is what you do. This is what successful people do. Okay, in case you haven't noticed. They find a way to manifest their own destiny. They don't leave it in the hands of fate or somebody else. They get their ass out there and they do it themselves. They find a way. Tony Riggs knows everyone's missing the Thanksgiving holiday and all the food and the goodness. Took advantage of that. Now he's profiting off of gizzard necklaces. Nick Cage, another one. He wants to be Ghost Rider. He becomes Ghost Rider. He manifests into Ghost Rider. Look, that's all I'm saying, folks. See what the successful people are doing and do that. Okay? See what they're doing and do that. All right? That's a Cage Fact for you today. Moving right along. Let's just spin up the logo, jump into the junction. All right. Important topics here in the junction. Okay? These are what I like to call the untouchable topics in the media, the untouchables. We briefly discussed some of them prior, and I'm sure we're going to discuss them again in the future because nobody else is talking about them. These are important things that the universe needs to know about, that Americans need to know about. Not the garbage, the slop that the fake news is putting out there every day with the political gossip and the not real problems that they're trying to create into problems. That's not it. Okay? Pull back the curtain a little bit, folks. This is what you need to hear about. All right? The Untouchables. First one I want to talk about, which I actually love talking about. You know it. So get out your tinfoil hats. We got some updates on the UFO alien stuff. Now, eventually, I'd like to get a guest on here who is also very, how do you put this? involved in the UFO interest world, like the world of people interested in the UFO stuff. I mean, look, I'm not a wordsmith, so that's what you're gonna get. But I want to get him on so we can deep dive into his thoughts and what other stories he's got in relation to UFOs, aliens, all the good shit. But for now, I got to keep you updated. Somebody's got to keep you updated, okay? It can't just be me. I guess it has to be, though. Anyway, in the last 3 weeks, okay, while everyone's stuffing their faces with burnt pumpkin pies and banana breads and all the dessert, the cannolis, the how you doings of Thanksgiving, and then falling asleep, the last 3 weeks, the government of the United States, okay, this is from actually the DNI herself, the Secretary of the Department of National Intelligence, or whatever DNI stands for these days, announced that there is potential that the UFOs that have been kind of sort of buzzing around our military aircraft, all those sightings of the last several years, there's potential that they're open to the idea that it's aliens, that they're alien in nature. That was the direct quote, was that there is potential that they are alien in nature. Now, they're using the word alien very generically because anything that's not of this world or of, normal, like, is alien. So if you're not born in America, you're considered, like, you're not living in America, you're considered alien. I'm alien to, like, Italy and European countries. That's why you hear illegal aliens all the time in the border crossing conversations. That's what they are using the word as. But they're talking about UFOs here. So they're not stupid. They can't, maybe they are that stupid where they don't even realize they're using the word alien on a subject, what we want real aliens, real extraterrestrials to be, a thing. So they could just be that stupid and have that little essay to realize that they're using the word differently than what people are how people are hearing it and what they want to hear. But regardless, that's what they put out there. Okay. Additionally, right after that, within a week or two after that, the Department of Defense announced a new UFO task force. They had what the hell is it called? ATACMS or whatever. I forgot what the task force was a few years ago that they had, and they shut down, supposedly, but now it's back up. It's called let me get this right, Airborne Object Identification and Management Synchronization Group, the ADIMSGD. I don't know who needed a promotion to create that ridiculous name full of buzzwords and bullshit, but it's essentially a UFO task force trying to identify what the hell is going on in this atmosphere right under our fat, stupid noses. While everybody is pushing the dangers and the chaos of this new Omicron Pussy I ate, Futurama reference, virus variant, we got aliens flying around under our fat noses, and nobody knows about it. Nobody's saying a damn word about it. Except for, like, Jeremy Corbell. The New York Post is always posting about it. And right here, LPDS. I think Crystal and Sagar from Breaking Points, that's another good. If you want objective, like, news reports and analysis on shit going on in the world, go check out Breaking Points, it's called. It's on YouTube. They also have a premium. I just watched the YouTube channel. Good stuff. It's objective. As objective as you can get from two human beings. Go check it out. But they're talking about it. Rational two adult human beings with families are talking about it. And right here, the tinfoil hat man himself. How do you just flippantly toss a story like this aside? You have two major departments in the government, the DNI and the Department of Defense, both admitting we got an alien situation going on in this world that we have to investigate further. And there's crickets on the news. I even hate calling it news. On the TV. Crickets, cicadas, nothing. That's unbelievable to me. I cannot understand how that's not a story. You want to talk about clicks. If you're just talking purely clickbait stories to get your numbers up, how are you not talking about aliens? That's absurd. That is absurd. That's such a great story to take on. You know how many interviews you can find that are like the captivating content you can create by finding these people who have claimed abductions or UFO sightings? I mean, most of these people are out of their minds. Imagine filming them. You want to talk about getting clicks and driving numbers up, ratings. That's the way to do it. This is the story. And nothing. Yet the media's numbers continue to plummet in an embarrassing fashion. I mean, it's not even close. They ought to be ashamed of it. I mean, talk about like a failed model. Every organization's ratings are just in the shitter. It's funny to see it happen because everybody is just digging their heels in and double downing on stupid and sticking with their plan. This is how we're going to get ratings. This has always worked for us. And it's bombing on them. And it's great to see. I mean, you want to see something fun. Watch these idiots scramble to try to get their ratings up by pushing out the same garbage. Can you imagine that? Think about that for a second. Hey, this thing has failed for years. We need to find a way to succeed and win. Let's do the same thing for years longer. Let's do the same thing. That's absurd. I mean, and people are listening to it. Smart people, I know personally, continue to just feed into that garbage. That's what's the most absurd, is that there are still people out there that are just like, you know, it's all true stuff. I believe all of it. I'm going to post about it. I'm going to take it all in. Aliens aren't real. The government just said they're probably real, but they're not real because CNN and MSN and Fox and all the other stations on cable are telling me otherwise, or they're not telling me anything. They're telling me about the Omicron pussy I ate virus variant that's supposedly the most dangerous ever, even though it's not. But I can't say that because now that's political. You can't disagree with what they're saying on the TV because now you're a monster. You're an anti-vax monster. Let me just turn the TV off for a little bit. All right. Turn your social medias off for a little bit. Go read up on non-politically affiliated information on shit. Any topic, aliens, viruses, anything that's not tied to a political person writing an article. Just go look up a science thing. Go on DuckDuckGo.com. That's a search engine that doesn't use an algorithm to put up what's trending or what narrative they want to push. Go look up information about anything, sports, medicine, science, and read up on that stuff. And stop using just the TV and just the social media for your information. There's a whole lot of shit out there that we're not hearing about any of these topics. And people seem to be completely okay with that. And that is just, again, absurd is the word. That is the word of the day. Absurd that this is going on. We got aliens flying around. Nobody's talking about it. That's wild. That is absolutely absurd. I can't use another word. There's no other word. We got to talk about something else. All right. Next on the Untouchables list, the Jussie Smollett trial began recently. Now, if you don't remember this one, Jussie Smollett is an actor who claimed that these two whites beat the shit out of him, said it was MAGA country, and we don't like his kind around these parts, pretty much. I think there was a direct quote was, "This is MAGA country." And he got his shit beat out of him, and he made a big story about it. And then come to find out, right after his release, his dramatic release of his story and how he endured and this and that, these two black guys come out and claim that Jussie Smollett paid them to stage the fight, to beat the shit out of them and pretend to be these two whites. So that trial's going on now for his slander or libel or whatever Jussie's being charged with for lying about this and creating this narrative, this whatever you want to call it, against him. So that's going on. Nobody wants to talk about that because it doesn't fit the narrative. And we can't, God forbid, we bring that up because the narrative is the opposite. The story was all over the news when poor Jussie got his ass beat by these animals. But now that they find out he paid to get his ass beat in some weird Craigslist fetish situation, now it's a problem. That's what they should really do. They should be celebrating the fact that Jussie is an exhibitionist and that's how he gets his rocks off. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not illegal. If that's what turns you on, Jussie, good on you, man. But let's talk about it. Let's celebrate that. Nobody in the TV media is talking about that at all, which you would think you'd want to celebrate as we continue to progress in this more, accepting and welcoming nation in this world. It's 2021. If somebody wants to pay to get the shit beat out of them, good on you. Celebrate it. But no, the media is silent about poor Jussie's story because now it doesn't fit their narrative of the victim as opposed to the exhibitionist. Look, stay strong, Jussie. All right. We're pulling for you. We want you to be happy getting the shit beat out of you so you can do seam in your pants or whatever it does to you. Good luck. Okay. Some of us are pulling for you, buddy. All right. In not so good news, going down on the Untouchables list, these two are not good. These last two are not good. Okay. Is anybody tracking? Well, I know you guys are, the guys who are listening at the junction, because I keep talking about it, but the Ghislaine Maxwell trial is now in week 2. It's in week 2. There hasn't been a story about it anywhere on the TV. If you Google it, you're not going to find very much information. Tell me how that makes sense. Let's walk through this particular story real quick so I can refresh everybody's memory on what's going on with Ghislaine Maxwell trial and that whole situation. All right. 2 rich adults, Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeff Epstein. At the very least, there's probably more that were running the show on this, but 2 rich adults for decades had been trafficking underage girls to their sex pedo island. Okay? And then they were flying in other rich and powerful people to the island so that they could do sex with these underage girls. That's called doing rape. That's rape to children. So that they can get dirt on these rich and powerful people and have influence over them. So that they can pull their puppet master strings on these rich and powerful people who had just got done doing sex to children, raping children. Children who have been sex trafficked to this island. Okay? And it involves so many rich and powerful, well-known people that are in movies, in media, shocker, in the government, shocker, running the country, even in the world. Royalty, British royalty is involved in it. Okay, think about that storyline for a second. I get heated about it just every single time because it is the most disgusting thing imaginable. Not just the fact that there has been this sex trafficking going on and all these famous rich people are doing the sex to them. What's more disgusting is that the media is choosing to snuff the story out, to pretend it's not a real thing. They're even doing it in schools. Did you see that one quack professor? I won't even call him a professor. He's a fucking moron. Had a whole class about defending pedophiles and how they should change the name to not pedophile to something else because they can't control their urges and they need help and this and that. I mean, he got suspended. I think he got fired. I don't know what happened. I know he got pulled from his class because he's an asshole, probably a pedo too. But nobody wants to talk about that. Think about that for a second, okay? Think about that. You have one of the largest, most despicable child pedophile sex trafficking rings in the history of the world. The trial is going on right now. And nobody wants to talk about that. Real problems that nobody wants to talk about. These kids will never be the same. Those who survived and didn't commit suicide will never be the same again. Imagine you as a kid getting sex done to you by one of these famous adults. And then you grow up seeing them on TV, running your country, providing you the quote-unquote news, acting in your movies throughout the rest of your life. Getting away with it, continuing to make millions, be successful and happy, while you have to endure that mental, emotional, and physical trauma for the rest of your life. And then nobody wants to come to your side and defend you on it, and then bring it up as an actual important piece of news to update the world on. That we got this person under trial, and we're going to try to take them out and bring justice to give the victims a little bit of justice and peace in this whole thing. And nothing is being talked about it. Where is the coverage? Zero. There is zero. They're talking about a virus variant as if nobody knew that viruses mutate naturally and this wouldn't happen. Like nobody said a year and a half, 2 years ago that this is going to mutate. That's how viruses work. This is like first heard for everybody. And it's like they took the headlines from the Delta variant over the summer and just copy pasted and just changed the word Delta to Omicron, whatever you want to call it. It's the same story. The most contagious, the most dangerous. Put your masks on. Get your booster. Now, you see, everyone's saying, oh, it's important to get your booster. We highly recommend it. Now they're walking the dog here, folks. Let's put on the tinfoil hats. Everyone's walking the dog on. Take the booster. It's helpful to highly recommend to mandate or you're fired. Okay? This is what's continuing to happen. They're copying and pasting the same garbage playbook in the government and the media because we're falling for it. Okay? And that's the story they want you to see, regardless of how you feel again about the virus or the politics behind it. I'm not here to talk about that. I know viruses are dangerous and I take them very seriously and I do what I can to protect myself. But that's not the story, guys. All right? That is not the story that they should be pushing every day. We got updates. We got the full live courtroom recordings, not live recordings, but the full live stream of the Kyle Rittenhouse case, the Ahmaud Arbery case that happened over the past couple weeks. the Derek Chauvin case that happened a couple months ago, all important cases that needed to be discussed. But now this one that affects hundreds of young kids, now adults, most of them, and incriminates hundreds of rich and powerful people. That's not a story. That's not being talked about. And everyone seems to be okay with that. Why is that happening? Why are people okay with the fact that this is not discussed? I don't know why it gets me so, maybe that's why it gets me so angry. Because people are just so like, yeah, whatever. I want to hear more about this virus variant, this mutation, because I didn't know viruses can mutate. Never heard of that before in my entire existence in life. No one's ever told me that before until now. And now I need to worry because that's important. I mean, give me a fucking break. We got child pedophile, sex trafficking sons of bitches on trial to bring justice to them and the people who did sex and rape to those kids. Mum's the word. Mum's the fucking word. Terrence, don't have your child listen to this episode. Sorry, buddy. All right, to get deeper down to the negative here, another incredibly angering story that is, again, part of the Untouchables. Nobody wants to talk about it, going under the radar, and it really gets me heated, probably more so than the whole Ghislaine Maxwell thing. The New York Yankees have tendered the contract of Gary Sanchez, essentially re-signing Gary Sanchez to another year, this time for $8 million. Okay? Gary Sanchez is now the $8 million man. He batted .204 last year. He didn't even get 100 hits in 162 games, 400 at-bats. More than that, because the walks and the other stuff don't count. More than 400 at-bats. Let's think. More. Batted .204. And they want to give him $8 million. They signed him for $8 million. Okay? Anyone hear about that one? I didn't think so. Because they're under the radar. All the bad stuff, all the important shit that goes on behind the scenes, behind the Wizard of Oz curtain, they don't want you to hear about, so they cover it up with garbage. With absolute garbage. Oh, who's Kim Kardashian dating these days? Meanwhile, they're pushing piles of cash to that fat, stupid loser, Gary Sanchez, who I'm sure he's a nice guy. I never met him, but from a baseball standpoint, he sucks. Giving him $8 million to bat 200 and get hurt and be fat and lazy and suck at his job. Why? I have no idea. Maybe they're embarrassed. They don't want to admit that there was a mistake. He is not the prospect they thought he was, or they failed at developing him. I don't know what the reason is, but he sucks, and he's getting paid to suck big time. And I always go back to the same story, the same example. Imagine you got a guy or gal you're working with who just sucks at their job. And instead of firing them, they give them more money. I know what happens in real life, too. Look at the government. They do it all the time. They promote the worst to get them out. They kick the rock down the road by promoting the shitbags. And next thing you know, they're running our country. This is what's happening. Gary Sanchez is going to start running the Yankees organization just because he's fat and sucks. I'm dying to find a job where I can be fat, lazy, stupid, and suck at it and not get 1 ounce better at it and continue to get paid more and more each year. Bonuses, salary raises, free meals. They give me bigger uniforms as I continue to pile on the pounds. Don't give a shit that I haven't caught a ball or a pass ball in a decade. They don't give a shit that I strike out 700 times a year. Or that I get hurt every 2 months and I got a new injury because I'm fat and lazy. I don't work out and take care of myself. And then I get paid $8 million for it. Can you imagine that? I'm not even mad at Fat Gary anymore. At that point, it's on the Yankees. It's on that wiener, Brian Cashman, who must have dirty pictures. Him and Brett Gardner, they have to have dirty pictures of like George Steinbrenner or Hal Steinbrenner or somebody that they can use as blackmail leverage to keep their jobs, to keep them on the team in the organization. Because Brian Cashman has sucked for 25 years now, 30 years now. They haven't won a World Series or even been competitive for a World Series in over a decade. And this is what he's doing. He's doubling down on fat and stupid and signing old Gary again. And now I can't even be mad at fat, stupid Gary. If I were him, I'd do the same thing. Why would I strive to get better and change my ways if I'm getting paid more to be shitty? Doesn't make any sense, right? And no coverage in the media whatsoever. That article I had to dig to find. I had to get help too. The Creature, my buddy, the Creature, had to help me find the information because they snuffed that story too. Now, just in the past month alone, 4 big stories that the world needs to know about, and they're complete silence. There's complete silence on it. Okay? That's why they're for whatever reason, the media doesn't want to touch them. They're the untouchables. Well, I got news for you, folks. We're touching them here. We're touching the fuck out of them. All day, every day. Anytime you hear a story or you see a situation that you know is not getting coverage, you let me know and we'll cover it. We'll touch the hell out of it right here in the junction because the people need to know about this stuff. You guys need to know that the team that you're rooting for is paying $8 million to one of the worst athletes in the entire league. Okay? You need to know this stuff. You need to know that poor Juicy Smollier can't even get his rocks off. He has to go to trial for being an exhibitionist because he paid to have 2 dudes beat the shit out of him. Nobody's talking about poor Juicy anymore. Nobody's talking about the aliens that are coming. They were probably the ones who beat the shit out of Juicy. He probably paid them. The exhibitionist aliens, for-profit aliens. Good for them. And of course, I mean, how many times I have to talk about Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeff Epstein and Sex Pedal Island? I'm the only one. There's nobody else talking about it. And I know people think I'm crazy. That's fine. You can think I'm crazy all you want. But when the shit hits the fan, when it's all said and done, when the dust clears, any other cliche saying you want to use right now, you're going to come back to the program. You're going to thank me for talking about this stuff. Because you're going to realize that the slop they're peddling on the television, on the social medias is exactly that. It's slop. It's fake. It's not real. It's garbage. It's for profit. It's not for news updates. It's nothing. They're nothing stories. This is where the somethings are. The untouchables, right here in the junction. And that's all I got to say today. Now, before we go, real quick, obviously, big 3. Okay? We should make it a big 4. Number 1, don't believe what you see in the TV and the social media. And then the big 3. Exercise every day. Anything. Even if it's an active rest day, you go for a walk, do a couple of crunches, whatever. Get the blood flowing, and you'll feel better about yourself. I drove back from Jersey after Thanksgiving. It was like a 5-hour trip because of traffic and other bullshit. And by the time I got home and got settled in, I really didn't work out that day. And I felt like an absolute piece of shit bum. It was one day. And the whole week prior, the Bone Crusher and I were annihilating workouts. Even Nikki Sticks got in a couple of workouts with us. Annihilating workouts. We walked 30,000 steps a day in New York City, plus the other actual physical workouts we did at the gym one day, and I felt like a piece of shit, not just physically, but like mentally. I felt like I let myself down, like I failed the day. I lost the day. So just get out there, go for the walk, do something, get out in town, find an excuse to move around, move and shake, do what you got to do. All right. Number 2, don't be a shitty person. Everybody's being shitty on the social medias these days, except on Thanksgiving, which is what we predicted. We predict this every year. Everybody's shitty. They're thankful on Thanksgiving, and then Friday they're shitty again. Double shitty, in fact, because of Black Friday and the deals and the how you doings, and they have to beat the shit out of people to get to their televisions. And they're doing it already again. They're continuing. It's not just Black Friday now. They're looting and stealing from stores in California, beating the shit out of people, breaking glass, stealing stuff for Christmas shopping. That's their Christmas shopping now, is looting and rioting to get gifts. That's the reasons now. It's not even for a fake cause. They're not even hiding under the guise of a cause anymore. They're just going to storefronts and beating the shit out of people and breaking glass and stealing items. Christmas, right? That's the reason now. It's Christmas. We're better than that, guys. We here in the LPDS universe, we're better than that. Okay? Now, you don't have to judge those people. They have their own problems to deal with clearly. I'm not saying we need to judge them and chastise them and cancel culture them. We just focus on ourselves. Okay? You control the controllables. You worry about yourself and how you are as a human being to yourself and to the world, the rest of the world, the people important to you, how the public sees you, whatever. And it'll all take care of itself. Okay? You bitching to somebody about them being an asshole, or you getting on your moral high horse thinking you're better than someone else for any reason whatsoever, is not helping the situation. Okay? You're not going to make that person, by being an asshole to somebody, that person's not going to be like, oh, that stranger called me an asshole because I didn't do the same thing they did. So I better change my ways and become a good person like them. That's not how it works. We all know that. So you just worry about yourself. Just be a good person. Okay. Understand that everybody around you is still a human being, and they got shit. We're all dealing with shit. Okay. And you know nothing about that shit. Even if it's a close friend of yours or a family member or anything, you're not in their head. You don't know what they're dealing with or why they're dealing with it the way they are. So just let them do their thing. You worry about you. You just be a good person. Okay? You don't be shitty. And eventually, that will spread. If you think about it, if you're a good person to everybody around you, when those people come around you again, they're going to be less and less shitty in general, because they know, oh, this is a good person. This is a nice person. They're happy. They're positive. I don't need to be a shitty person to them. They did nothing wrong to me. So, and that starts to spread. Then that person goes out into the wild, and their circle sees the same thing, and it spreads. And then those people go out to the wild. They're good people, and it spreads. That's how it works. Okay? Just like a virus. I know we can't make those comparisons, but it's just like a virus. Okay? It spreads. Good is contagious. Okay? Good spreads as well. All right? We should be talking more about that, the virus of good. Because that's what we want. I want to get caught with the good bug, the happy bug, the positive bug, whatever the hell you want to call it. Spread that shit all around, baby. I'm here for it. No vaccine for that one. Give me that virus. Give me the good, baby. Spread it. Okay? And number 3, the most important one, be thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your life. Not just on Thanksgiving, not just on holidays where you're physically with people and you feel obligated to be nice for that one day because that's what the holiday tradition tells you to do. Tell yourself to do it every day. Use that as the reason. Oh, I'm a good person. I'm grateful and thankful because that's what I'm doing every day. That's my thing. I don't need a calendar holiday notification to tell me, or society to tell me I can only be grateful on one day a year. Just do it every day. Okay? Don't let somebody else control when you're nice and when you're grateful. You control that. Okay? Control your own destinies, just like our man Anthony Rigatoni, just like our man Nick Cage. They're manifesting their own destiny. You guys can do it too. All right? You can do it by following the big 3. And this is just recommendations. I'm not telling you got to do it. I know I'm going to do it. And if you want to join in, you're more than welcome. If not, hey, that's your choice. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to moral high horse you. But it'd be really great if you thought about it a little bit. Because these are not crazy concepts, I don't think. I'm not telling you to stick a parking cone up your ass or stick your weenie in an electrical socket. So I think these are pretty reasonable to at least think about. So that's the big 3. That's all I got now. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Leave reviews, leave comments. I know you bastards who are watching this stuff and listening and not checking the like or dislike, even dislike it. Put it in there and we can talk about it. We can hash it out in the feedback. Do it. I'm begging you. Give the feedback. This show is built off of you guys. So keep it coming. Thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.